Get ready to cringe, Dom.
Oh, yeah, dude. Okay, so hello, everybody. My name is Ian. I'm joined by the always lovely Garrett. Um,
Oh crap! I knocked the phone over.
okay.
Hold on.
just dumping shit everywhere. So if you have the capability of reading, you have read the title, and Garrett's going to be taking. It's not really putting together. Well, he is putting together a set of dual tube night vision goggles, but what he's really doing is transferring the glass and the image intensifier tubes from one housing to another. One of those housings I had purchased back when I was deployed to Afghanistan, and it is a RMVG housing. It's based off the Sentinels, but it's CNC aluminum rather than being made out of a plastic. And
It
I'm
is
go ahead.
super tough.
It is fucking rugged, dude. You could
Like
throw them across the
if
room.
you're concerned about your night vision durability, buy an RNVG.
It,
I
it's
guarantee you will not have problems.
Yeah. Not only is it tough as nails, but it's based off of a less complicated design. It's a bridge design, so it's going to be cheaper to repair if you somehow manage to destroy it. Yeah. So those are my nods, my current nods.
So you will notice I did take the dovetail off because I'm working on something else
Yeah.
involved with it. So I just have that removed. But that's the only thing that's like been changed on this. So yeah, these are RNVGs.
Yep.
RNVG stands for Ruggedized Night Vision Goggle. So it the Sentinel was originally, I think, based on an improved, like hardened Anvis.
Yeah, it's based off of the Anvis sixes, just
Yeah,
without the ball detent.
right. Which the reason they have the ball detent is so they can take them on and off very quickly.
Now they could, I mean, also so they could flip them up and it would not. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true too. But obviously, ground troops don't necessarily have to worry about that. So the RNVG instead has a dovetail,
Well, I
which
mean, surprisingly enough, the GPMVGs they've got two different versions of the mounts. They've got the ball detent
did see that.
and they've got the BNVS, which is the dovetail itself.
So then the housing that we have today is the BNVD-1431, which is it looks all very similar to the PVS-31,
Yeah.
except instead of proprietary front and rear lenses like the PVS-31's have, these use PVS-14 optics.
Yes.
So it's really easy to get replacement parts for this. It uses the 101 60 image intensifier, which anybody that has a little bit of night vision knowledge knows that that's a very common night vision intensifier.
Yeah.
Uh, it is fixed gain, but at the same time, a lot of people like it's kind of a one and you adjust it one time and then it just kind of stays that way for the most part. If you're going in and out between like lots of different light, you could maybe adjust it constantly, but I found that you just kind of adjust it to the environment you're in and then just leave it.
I've come to
But
realize that like even with RMVGs, if you I've got 20 UA or 22 UA unfilmed white phosphor tubes, and
this is why I'm being
I
very delicate today.
exactly I've had no issues whatsoever with gain because they're just excellent tubes.
I was gonna say the white phos, like I made the mistake of looking through the RNVGs, thinking, "Oh, I wonder how white phosphor tubes actually are." And now that like it's gonna be the next thing on my list.
Yeah.
So the first thing I'm gonna do, we're gonna PPE up, I guess I should say, not PP up. Although I'm sure everyone's
Everyone's going from
PPs
6 to 12 right now.
are. The reason we do this is because we don't want like smudges, smears, and things like that on the lenses. I'm going to do a bunch of cleaning, so that's why I have I mean, you probably can't see that because it's washed out, but 99% alcohol. You don't want really any water because you don't want it to like stay around for very long.
Yeah. Not only A, because it's an electronic component, and B, because, I mean, when you purge it, if you have any fucking water vapor in there, it's going to fog up, depending on the
Yeah.
environment.
All right. So, first thing I'm going to do before we get too far ahead is I'm going to clean the workspace. So whatever this desk that I'm using.
Is there any chance you can tilt your camera down a little bit so we can see your actual
Yeah, I
workspace?
probably could.
There
Yeah,
we go.
it's just a desk, and you can see I've got a couple tools. We'll go over some of that stuff, but I'm just gonna wipe it down, get a bunch of the hair and dirt. Like you can see how dirty that is.
It's pretty gross.
I'll probably gonna do a couple swipes just to be safe. I've also got Q-tips. What really helps with these two is if you have a girlfriend or live with them, these like cotton round things are really handy because it's not like a small area like a Q-tip.
You mean makeup wipes, you fucking Philistine?
I don't know any of these fancy things. All right, so that should be, oof, gross. This desk is also very old, so I'm not surprised it's coming up with a lot of dirt.
One of the things that people kind of...
Alcohol is potent.
Yeah. People are going to be talking about how fragile certain types of night vision are. To be 100% honest, like, I'm not saying that, you know, stuff like Anvis 6s and Anvis 9s are by any stretch of the imagination the toughest pieces of equipment in the world, but they're certainly not as fragile as most people say they are. They're just not hardened for ground combat.
Yep. So the next thing that I'm doing is I'm just marking where the lenses are, because with binocular night vision devices, you want to make sure that you have the lenses collimated with each other. So collimated is basically you're aligning the two axes of the lenses so they're in very similar directions. Because if they're not, then your brain tries to fix it, and oftentimes it can be very challenging for your brain to do that, and that's what gives you like eye strain or headaches or things like that. And as far as I know, for the PVS-14, the way you adjust collimation is rotating the eyepiece assembly. So it's got a little bit of like a wobble, I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah.
And you adjust that by just rotating it and then locking it with the locking ring. Now you see I just have it marked here with some silver Sharpie, the orientation, so I just kind of approximated the bottom. And then I did to the front lenses. I don't think it's necessary for the front lenses, but I'm just going to be extra specially careful when I do that. So the next thing, because the housing comes completely bare, and the nice thing about it too is it also has its own set of locking rings. So there's one for this is, I believe, the like close focus stop.
Yeah.
And then this is the eyepiece locking ring.
Absolutely.
So I just have these loose, so that way I can turn them hand tight. And these ones, I just have them all the way cranked tight because that's how you have it set up on the RNVGs.
Rob from Omega is asking, like, what do we mean by purging it? So, Garrett, go ahead. You're going to be able to explain better than I can.
Okay, so purging is short for nitrogen purging. Essentially what you're doing with the optics is you're eliminating the atmosphere inside of it and replacing it with very, very near 100% dry nitrogen. And that functions the same way in night vision goggles as it does for scopes and other like rifle optics.
Yeah.
So you have the atmosphere that is inert and it doesn't contain any water vapor. So that way, if the temperature fluctuates up and down, you don't get water vapor inside the lens, because then if it's inside the housing and everything, you can't clean it. So you effectively have just a foggy optic.
However, it doesn't necessarily have to be nitrogen. It can really be any inert gas or mostly inert gas.
Yeah, and you don't want to use air because air obviously has water vapor in it.
Yeah.
All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is, this is a spanner wrench that I actually made. It originally had a larger tip on it, but you can see it's got a little tiny peg.
Tiny little
and that fits inside the little holes around actually both the front and the rear ocular lenses. So you just have to slowly crank on it. Yep, there we go. We're gonna do one tube at a time. So you just loosen that, And then that frees the ocular lens. I can get it started. I may have to use the wrench on that. Yeah, I'm going to have to use the wrench on that.
How about a night vision mounted scope? So there are a couple versions of night vision mounted scopes that you can get your hands on. The most common ones you're going to see on the civilian market right now are going to be digital night vision, which is literally just a camera with the IR filter removed and oftentimes an IR illuminator on it. In terms of actual like true night vision scopes, there's a couple of options you have. They're the specially made ones for guys like snipers. I think that's like the PVS-27 is an example of that.
There's a couple
Yeah.
variants of them. The
One thing.
There's a PVS-30.
Yeah.
There's a PVS-27, like you said. There's a PVS-22. Generally, the lower the number on like the PVS,
The older it's gonna be.
the older it's going to be. Now the 22, the 27, and the 30 are designed to go in front of magnified optics.
Yeah, go in front of like a Leupold Mark IV or a Night Force optic or whatever we're using with the sniper rifle. By the way, guys, how's the audio sounding? Just give me a heads up in chat. One thing you'll see a lot.
Lens is removed.
One thing you'll see a lot on the civilian market is people using a PVS-14 and mounting it in line with their optic. Which is a very usable option, but to be 100% honest, having passive night vision just mounted in front of your face and using an IR laser and an IR illuminator is generally going to be a little bit more operationally capable.
Well, the problem with the PVS-14 is the way that the tubes, and this goes for both the MX-10160 and the 11769, which are both just the 18 millimeter image intensifier tube designations.
They're pretty much the same thing, just one doesn't have a pigtail for manual gain.
Right. So the problem with the PVS-14 is it's only rated recoil for a 5.56 on an M16.
Yeah.
Because of that, it's very susceptible to recoil damage.
Yeah.
Even on an AR.
Yeah.
All right.
Vitamin Lead brought up a great point. You see a lot of center blends from weapon-mounted 14s too.
Yep.
That's very true, especially when people were using non-night vision mode capable of optics with them. Go ahead, Garrett.
Right, so ocular lens has been removed. My mark is still intact. So I'm going to set that aside. We're going to do one side at a time just so I don't mix up what side is what. So you can see down inside here. Let's see if I can point the light. Oh, there we go. So you can see inside, his tube has, it's L3, you can see it, but then it has a locking ring, which I'm going to use this special wrench in order to remove it.
Is that the one you ordered online?
Yep, this wrench was not cheap.
I can imagine.
So if anybody's thinking like, oh, I can build my own night vision, sure you can, but to get the proper tools, it's very expensive. And then like to get a proper nitrogen purge kit, it's over $1,000. Like most of them are approaching $2,000.
We've got one at my National Guard armory because you do actually have to PMCS your PVS-14s.
Yep. Yeah, that's a regular purging. Purging it, I believe, as far as I remember, is to be done every 6 months.
Yeah, it's operator level maintenance as well. It's fairly simple to do.
Okay, locking ring, very thin, very thin. Like you got like 4 threads on there, and they're very fine threads. So the locking ring is now out. I'm gonna set that aside. Now, luckily, the BNVD 1431 housing includes its own set, so we are going to use those for it. So the next thing is you can see this kind of this like pronged thing. It looks really bright on my screen, but I don't know if it is showing up okay. So the next thing we're going to do is remove, this is called the light pipe.
Yeah.
And the purpose of this is it's basically an indicator system. So that way when you turn the IR flood option on, there's a little red light that actually goes inside of the in front of the tube, so that way when you're looking in it, you can see, okay, yes, I have my light on. And then the second one is actually a low battery indicator. So that is very delicate, and I'm just going to lightly pick up on it. My fingernail. There is a tool for this. I do not have it. It did not come in time, and I was very eager to do this. But I will be very delicate so as to not break it. I may have to get a little screwdriver to do that. Come on. There we go.
If you hear a snapping and breaking sound, that's the sound of Garrett's wallet exploding.
No, the the light pipes are actually very cheap to get. I think they're like maybe $10.
Yeah.
But I'm going to clean all these components before I put them into the housing. But this is the light pipe. You can see it's got the two little tabs. So there's an LED that's here and an LED that's here. Obviously, they can't be positioned in front of the tube because otherwise you have to slide the tube in behind this.
Yeah.
But there'll be a light there. I can't remember which is which. But the helpful thing is on the light pipe, it actually says up. Set that aside. So now that we got that out of the way, next the image intensifier, which just falls.
Someone brought up in chat that generally the locking rings are pretty easy to find unless it's a PVS-15, in which case they're fucking unobtainium at this point.
Yeah, the PVS-15 is an outdated system. I think a lot of groups that are using the PVS-15 have switched largely to the 31.
Yeah, so the 15s, I think they got brought into service in like the mid-2000s, and I mean the original 31s came out in like the early 2010s alongside the BNVD-1431's, and the 15s have been getting, I don't know, surplused out to police departments and sold. Yeah.
All right, so the next thing is the objective lens. Now there is a locking ring on the inside to keep it, because the objective lens, you can adjust your focus.
Yes.
You can see it gets longer. So we have to crank it the whole way back and then take the really long wrench with 2 pins, drop it down in here.
Yep.
Get it on. Yep, there we go. And that's free.
That gives me an idea, Garrett. Maybe if we get our hands on some PVS-15 lock rings, we might be able to, I don't know, redesign them in CAD and either and CNC them for some LSH stuff.
Maybe.
I wonder what they're made out of. I mean, they're probably like an aluminum, right?
Most of this stuff is made out of aluminum. Like the housings are either plastic or aluminum typically. Yeah. So the nice thing about this wrench is the locking ring has a pocket that it sits inside of, so that way.
So it retains it.
Yep. So it retains it, but that is that locking ring. So now that is off, we can now twist this, and now the lens assembly, boop, pops right out the front.
That's pretty sweet, man.
Simple as that. And you can see it's got an O-ring to help seal itself. This one's got grease on it, which is good because that also helps preserve it.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to take your SAC lens off. So now essentially what you do is just repeat the process backwards for the other one. But otherwise, like, this is the inside of an RNVG housing.
It's pretty simple. It's nothing super special.
It's nothing crazy. Like all the electronics are in the top because it has an IP adjustment that slides left to right.
Yeah. And it's literally just contacts on the outside of the tube and the inside of the housing that are what power, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to take a Q-tip here. And we are going to, I probably should have removed your SAC lens first. Although I can clean that outside one. So we are just going to do a little bit of cleaning on the lens, because there's a little bit of dust on it. And then we will wipe that away. And you guys cannot tell because I've got the light pointed. You can actually kind of see, just based on the color of it, you can see whether or not the alcohol has completely evaporated or not. So that is now clean. We're going to pitch that. And now we just reinstall it. Now, with this, like I said earlier, I had marked the lens with an orientation. The threads of the objective lens are actually multiple start points. So, and I should have paid attention to where it came out, but we're just going to wing it.
Well, that's good to hear.
Okay, so I have to go 180, roughly. Almost there.
Is that a double A or a 1, 2, 3 for the?
This is double A.
Okay.
And it actually says.
Yeah, there you go.
Double A right there. And I actually tried it, and I made sure that the housing does turn on.
Okay. And it does.
Before you start this. Yep.
Okay.
All right, let's try one thread over. There we go.
Nope. Shit is fucked.
Nope, and I just realized that I have this pod like oriented like this, so I was like, oh, I just need to make sure it's at the bottom. That's the bottom, right? Nope. That is the bottom.
So you're gonna need an additional 90 degrees to the left.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. Your average person's gonna think this is fucking boring. If you ask me, this is super entertaining.
I get a kick out of this stuff.
I mean, you're an engineer as well, so.
That's very true. Okay, so I have to go one more. Almost. All right, that's going to have to be close enough. So can't quite get it to where it's oriented, but we should be pretty darn close. We can definitely get it close with the
ocular lenses.
The ocular lens. All right, so that is that. So now the next is to reinstall this locking ring.
RMV juice starting 7 new warranty. Yeah, so RMV juice with the warranty with new tubes and new glass in it is going to be around $6,500 to $7K. I got a very, very good deal on my RMV juice. It's a mixture of veterans discount and A being, hey, I'm deployed right now and I want to replace the garbage I'm using and I have an ITAR exemption. And I ended up getting mine for like $7,500 plus tax for some very, very nice tubes. And to be 100% honest, very, very nice, nice unit. Surprisingly light considering the thing is made out of 70-75 aluminum or 60-65.
Yeah, it's
60-61.
It's 60-61. All right, so now I've got the objective lens in, so you can see. Whoop, we are good to go.
Sweet.
Moving back, nice and back and forth. So the next part is install the image intensifier, which I'm actually going to clean that first before we get too far ahead of ourselves. Once again, use a Q-tip because you don't want to apply a ton of pressure when you're doing this because you're just looking to clean the surface. You're not trying to like
spear
refinish
through the ITT lens with the fucking Q-tip, yeah.
Yep.
I'm assuming it's very easy to tell which way is forward and which way is backwards with the
yeah, so all the markings and everything are on the back.
Okay.
And there's actually a, like when you're building these in a PVS 14,
yeah,
there's a little groove right there. That's where an alignment pin sits.
Oh, so it's like it's like the groove on a airsoft inner barrel for a hop-up bucking.
Pretty much.
Okay, that's pretty sweet.
So I'm going to clean the electrical contacts as well, just to be extra safe. And then, so I've cleaned the front face of that. And for each lens, I'm basically getting a new Q-tip just because don't want to contaminate anything.
Absolutely, yeah.
And Q-tips are Very, very cheap.
So
Nobody's asked, how does night vision actually work?
I had
Because I could tell you.
I had a guy, one of the majors in my National Guard unit, actually used to work at Photonis.
Nice.
Yeah, and he was giving me the basic rundown. He's like, yeah, you ever use night vision? I just showed him a picture of my setup. He's like, oh, okay, I'm sorry for insulting your intelligence.
I'm just gonna clean that just to make sure we don't have any other spots or anything.
Yeah. I'm looking to, additionally, you might see some night vision gameplay pop up in the channel in the not so distant future with some clip on thermal imaging, depending on some variables in the near future.
Okay, so there's a little tab in the housing.
Okay.
So we just insert the tube. Come on.
For anyone wondering about this housing specifically, this is not an American-made housing. This isn't made by L3 or Acton Black. I mean, to be fair, the DTMVGs aren't either. But this is it's a Chinese-made housing that's basically just a copy of the PVS 31 housing, adapted to take 14 objective lenses and tubes. It got bashed on when it originally came out, but to be 100% honest, I've talked to some people in the industry and they're super impressed by it right now, especially since they worked out a lot of the bugs that they had when they initially came out with it.
So the trouble I'm running into right now is there's two pins.
Okay.
That put pressure down on the contacts.
Okay.
And trying to get those depressed while inserting the tube is a bit of a challenge. Because that's as far as the tube goes. I don't know if spinning it is going to help. Come on. This might be the most challenging part here. So you can see.
Yeah, the two contact pins.
Yep, two little contact pins. I don't know how they get those depressed. I don't think they'd like tear apart. I don't think they take the like housing piece off.
No.
I might just have to do a little bit of wiggling. If not, I could take it off just to insert it. Let's see here.
See, if you were Eric or Corey in this, it would literally just force it in.
Well, you would break something.
Yeah.
All right, I am going to get my
yeah, go ahead, vitamin lead, that's fine. Or vitamin lead? Vitamin lead, I'm guessing.
All right, I'm going to go get my little screwdriver set to take that off, and then we'll just take the little pod off.
Yeah.
And then put it back. So let me step away real quick.
Hey gamers, I'm looking at acquiring my own night vision binoculars, so I become the LARP harder at my local field night games. Do you have any recommended readings on me become more well-informed about looking at MEGs? So, essentially, we did a podcast a couple of months ago on, had to be like 3 or 4 months ago at this point, but talking about night vision specifically. Some, in terms of required reading, or recommended reading, TNVC have an excellent series of YouTube videos where they talk about the differences between dual tubes and single tubes, as well as recommendations on them. Grand Thumb did like a 40-minute video on night vision, which is also really, really solid. Yeah, anything from TNVC or Grand Thumb is going to be recommended. And additionally, if you really want to, a good friend of mine, Duncan Green, he works for Steel Industries, and he does some really, really solid work on night vision, and he's a absolute wealth of knowledge. So if you look up Duncan Green on Facebook or on Instagram and reach out to him, he should be able to point you in the right direction.
He is very approachable, so do not be afraid to ask questions. Okay.
Kinetic Consulting is also really, really good. Nightwalker, they do good stuff as well.
Nightwalker has a really good set of videos. Okay, let's go up a size. Now, being very delicate just because these are not my tubes.
Yep.
And this is also a brand new housing.
Vigilance Elite did do a good night vision video, more so on the actual application of night vision rather than what to buy. In terms of night vision tactics, if you want to dole out a little bit of cash, you can go to some night vision shooting courses, and those are usually ran by guys who are former special operations, and that will give you a lot of information regarding how to actually employ them, movement and maneuver with nods. But yeah.
I was hoping I didn't have to do this, but it is what it is.
Away she goes. Yeah, the night vision community is usually pretty opening. It's very they're usually pretty open when it comes to helping people. So if you ask for help, I'm sure people will absolutely spring to give you the aid and assistance that you need.
Derek Brown is another good guy to talk to.
Yeah, he runs oh god, what is
Relic
he run?
Raptor?
Yeah, Relic Raptor.
I believe it's Relic Raptor. Okay. Just be very delicate. And there's only 3 more screws to go.
If you can't tell, I'm sweating just a little bit.
Why you sweaty, Ian?
Because I've been drinking and I'm wearing a waffle top, that's why. It's definitely not because you're holding thousands of dollars worth of equipment in your hands.
I feel I'm mechanically aptitude enough that like this doesn't really bother me.
Yeah.
It's the electronics are what scares me because
So
I have like
that's where we need
zero
Fleur.
experience with those. Yeah.
How
It's
much
like
are MVGs? So
it
yeah,
depends.
Fleur said Fleur's answer of yes, that's how much they cost is a pretty good answer.
It depends what you want.
Yeah,
Really.
so if you're talking single tubes, it really depends on if you want new, if you want green phosphor, white phosphor, dual tubes, if you're a fucking psychopath, quad tubes, Cody's, stuff like that. But if you want like a basic, brand new, single tube, PVS-14 and green phosphor, that can be anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000, depending on what you're looking at. If you want to go used, you can definitely get some really, really solid deals. I've seen PVS-14s go for like anywhere from $1,000 to $1,200. Now, don't get me wrong; they were definitely units that fell off the back of a truck during the invasion of Iraq. But
yeah, you got to be careful with a used unit. But as long as you're comfortable with, like knowing what you're getting or not knowing what you're getting, it is what it is. Okay, so now that comes off, and as you can see, the pins are off of it. We have a gasket for sealing, which I'm just going to leave alone.
Vitamin Lead brings up a great point as well. Use PayPal goods and services anytime you buy any sort of tactical gear. Even if they want you to pay the additional fee, it's worth it just so you can because
PayPal has the option now that you can pay for the fees instead of like adding the extra % or whatever, which it's about damn time, really.
Yeah, but to be 100% honest, the like those fees are worth it because if you ever run into somebody who only wants friends and family and doesn't want goods and services, that's a pretty big red flag that they're going to steal your money.
Yeah, it's a pretty good indicator that they are not exactly trustworthy to do. Okay, so now I've got the tube in. It has a little bit of play in the alignment system, but the fact that it's not like spinning the whole way around is a good sign that I've got it in the right spot. So I'm going to leave that sit and then clean the light pipe because it looked a little grungy when I got it off. And I don't think you can, if anybody's wondering like what do you use on the O-rings to help like maintain the seal, that would be dielectric grease. Not that I imagine anybody that's watching this video is going to want to build their own NVGs because these tools are not cheap. The knowledge it can be a very expensive lesson if you're not uh, up to the task or not very comfortable, like mechanically with tools and things like that. If
Yeah,
you can't if you can't tech your own AEG, probably shouldn't be building night vision.
exactly. And if you are looking to build night vision, for the love of God, do not use this video as a how-to guide to build your own night vision.
Yeah,
Again, Gamers
absolutely
takes no
not.
responsibility for you fucking your shit up. There are better videos on YouTube for that. This is just something to watch. Some good entertaining
Actually,
content.
I'm actually wondering if the light pipe even has to be installed. Because if I stick it in there, the number of threads that you have for the locking ring is not a lot. And I don't
Oh,
think I can actually get it in there. Here, I need to use the light a little bit better.
ooh, L3. Sexy.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to know that I didn't get ripped off and it's actually a.
And it's actually an L3 tube.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. So this is probably why they have their own retaining rings, because they appear to be larger. So we're not using the light pipe.
Interesting.
It's different,
I
but
mean,
that's
that doesn't.
okay.
To be fair, that doesn't have an IR illuminator in it anyway, so.
It does not. So the only LED indicator to it that I believe it has is on, off, or
Low battery.
Low battery.
Okay.
So if we compare the two locking rings, they are pretty much the same.
If there's an NSN, do not post it online. That's a good point. Also, for the love of God, do not post your spec sheets online. Them shits is ITAR covered.
Yeah. Okay. I hope I did not mix up the retaining rings. There we go. You always want to be careful with the threads on these things because
Very
they
thin.
are very, very thin.
Delicious.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the right move here. Come on. There we go.
What's the I know there's like a device that you can use to collimate it precisely. What exactly is that called? Explain how that works.
It's a collimator.
Okay. Thank you, Garrett.
Pretty much. Essentially, what you're doing with collimating is you're just aligning the axes of the lenses
Okay.
together.
I got you.
That's all it is. Okay. So we're going to return the gasket onto that spot. Going to put that back
Brooks
on there.
says, I got turned on to NVGs in my local field's night games. I was able to run a few games with my friend's binocular setup. Yeah, if you have any friends who are comfortable with letting you use their night vision, I would absolutely recommend you try theirs before you make the leap yourself. Um, if you're not the type to, if you want to use this stuff for airsoft, if you're not the type to be going to events like MSW or AMS or any of the other ones, Line Claws, Third Coast, Centurion, whatever, if you're just kind of looking at your local fields games, it's probably going to be more prudent to, instead of buying some ridiculous, dual tube setup, either getting yourself a very basic PVS-14 or even the Psionics Aurora. Because if you're just going to your local fields night games, it's very likely you're going to be one of the few people with night vision there.
Now, something else to think about with night vision is I would call it's a cascading purchase.
Yes.
So it's not like you buy the monocle or the dual tube and then that's it.
No.
No, you need a mount. If you're buying a 14, then you need a J arm to connect it to the mount. You need a good shroud on a solid helmet.
Yeah. There's, I mean, anything made by Noritos, Wilcox. I know there's a third company that's kind of.
Well, TNVC has a couple of products.
TNVC has their own products, but yeah, the anything from Wilcox or Noritos is going to be trustworthy when it comes to your own night vision. You're not only going to need the mount and the actual arm itself, but you're going to need something to mount it on. And if you're thinking that it's a good idea to mount it on like a Emerson bump helmet, probably not. I would recommend.
At the very least, I would replace the shroud
Yeah,
with something
absolutely.
else, either a Wilcox or a Neratos. Um,
Even
or
even a
there's
USGI
another one
Rhino,
too.
like Rhino mount, I would trust that
Yeah.
over any of the yeah. I will say that there's one sort of like clone helmet that I would trust, and that's probably going to be the PTS Tech Flux. They do a really solid job with their stuff, although I'd still probably replace the shroud on that.
No, it's a. I think those shrouds have a metal insert
Do
in
they?
them.
Okay, so it's
Yeah,
probably
they
worth
do.
trusting that.
And then I have one helmet that I can recommend comfortably is I have a JC airframe
Yeah,
that
JC
also
Airsoft Airframe,
has.
good stuff.
Yep, also has a metal shroud.
Phoenix is asking, anyone know where to get the Sightmark Ghost Hunter 1x24 RPGs? So, the Sightmark Ghost Hunter is what we call Gen 1 night vision. And there's a general rule of thumb in the night vision community is that the only night vision worth buying is Gen 2 and onwards. If you're a collector and you just like having cool stuff and you want like the old Soviet tanker helmets, the Gen Zero stuff, or a Starlight scope or something of that
The
nature,
P the PNV 57E,
E,
I think
yeah,
is what it is.
yep, that's what you're thinking of. And then you've got like the PVS 1 and 2, like the old Starlight scopes.
Mm.
Those are worth buying if you're a collector, but if you're using to actually, or if you're looking to actually use them, um, PVS 5s and onwards, dog. And if you're doing PVS 5s, for the love of God, don't run it in its standard VR headset, fucking standard setup. I would recommend
You
talking to.
can.
You
That's how ground
can.
troops used them for a while.
This
That's
is
how the
true.
Ghostbusters use them.
That is also true, but this is during an era when you weren't expecting to be, kicking indoors in the middle of Fallujah. You were expecting Soviet T-72s to come barreling across the Fulda
This
Gap.
is this is very true. All right, so I've got the monocular reattached, or the pod reattached to the bridge.
Yep.
So now we are going to clean this ocular lens.
Or are you going to go ahead and power it on once you have that first thing attached?
I can if you want me to, just to make sure.
Just to make sure, a little bit of peace of mind.
Yeah, I could do that. I'll have to go grab a battery. I didn't even think. Okay, so the rear lens is very. This one's all scratched.
Yeah, if you want to make night into day the old-fashioned way, if you can't afford to see in the dark, I would recommend a very high output flashlight. I mean, honestly, and you don't really want to go above like 1,000 lumens or 1,500 lumens because after that
Oh
it
my
just
God,
washes.
I wouldn't even do that. I would like maybe 250 lumens is
Yeah,
really.
my 300 Scout, I've got the vampire head on mine,
Mhm.
and the white light output is like maybe 400 lumens, and it's perfect, honestly. There are people who will run ridiculous heads on their fucking Surefires where it's like 2,000 lumen output, and you're just washing everything out at that point. Um, very cool to have that ridiculous power, but kind of pointless. In the same way that bringing like an ISLID to an MSW event is fucking pointless.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, one thing to note when you're using the electronics duster,
yeah.
you don't want any liquid to come out.
So don't point it upside down.
Yeah, don't point it upside down like I almost did. Okay. So now we're going to install the ocular lens.
I want to
Again,
hear
these
the noise when it powers up. People, does it make a noise when you power up night vision? Yes, it does, and it's fucking cool.
yours do. My
Mine do.
14 is silent.
Yeah, it's because listen, if you want to feel like Sam Fisher, you got to pay the extra money, dog. It's a
Pay.
$200 extra. They installed a tiny little speaker inside of it.
Just making sure I'm not cross-threading because the threads on this are
Oh
coming
God,
apart.
don't say that. It's $250 just gone.
Well, no, it'd be the housing.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
that'd be bad.
there we go.
So let's get a good pic of that for the camera, Garrett. Whenever you got that lined up.
Yep. Once I get it.
ProTech HLX run 18650 save money. Yeah, there's a very interesting couple of things coming out of China right now. Have you ever heard of the Kodi, the clip-on thermal imager past 29A? It's essentially a add-on fusion device which projects a thermal overlay through your night vision. There's something called the what the fuck is it called? We were talking to a friend of the channel recently about it.
Is that the Jerry C?
Yeah, it's the Jerry C. I've heard another name for it. It is the PTI C5 Enhanced Clip-On Thermal Imager. And that's around 4,500, but it is absolutely ridiculous.
Is I'm just going to align the two marks.
Okay.
And actually, you know what? I wonder. I'll take this off again real quick. I gotta check something. Because when you install an image intensifier, you want to make sure that the objective lens is pulled the whole way out.
Why is that?
That is to make sure that it seats the whole way down into the socket. Yep. And we had a little bit of room. We're okay. Still got it.
Oh, that was the locking ring. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's a locking ring.
Don't drop the $3,000 image intensifier. Holy fuck.
Only slightly upset Ian this stream.
The most basic laser out there, 2K, if it's a decent laser. Honest to God, man.
You don't need a 2K laser.
No, you don't. You can spend, what was it, $170 on a Laser Max, and you'll be fine.
You'll be fine.
Yeah. If you've got 3K, you can get a nice PVS-14 J-arm Rhino mount and ACH to go with it for that amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle just bought a. He got what, a white phosphor 14?
He got a white phosphor 14.
Good for him, man.
Yeah, and he and I
Speaking
were
of which,
talking about
Duncan, if you're watching, feel free to send me my my referral check at any time now.
Okay, so what I found helps with installing the ocular lens is running it the whole way out, because there's an O-ring right here.
TLR VIR2 or House and Lamb for about 400. You can get the Steiner Tor. I think that's a TMVC product as well for like $250.
So I found you get started.
Okay.
Right once you get to the O-ring.
Okay.
Is when you crank it in. That will create the seal. Oop, I went too far.
What are your thoughts on the PTS MTech Flux? One of the best repro helmets on the market. It's up there with the JC Airsoft stuff, but yeah, it's a great helmet. It probably is one of the few helmets that I'm going to recommend as a repro, to be 100% honest. It's really cool.
Mm-hmm. No, I've kind of wish I would have gotten my hands on one at some point.
I mean, if you go through Amped, I'm fairly certain you can use our discount and get it for like $100.
Yeah, it's just I don't need another helmet because I've got 6 actually.
Dude, you know how you feel exactly the same way I feel about fucking plate carriers right now, because including my IOTV that I'm going to be getting from Paratrooper Army Navy, my issued IOTV, and the fucking Desert Tiger Stripe carriers, when I have everything from MOS, I'm going to have 9 fucking plate carriers. and like 3 of them are going to be in Desert Tiger Stripe.
Jesus.
That's why
3 of them?
Yeah, so
okay.
MOS.
I've got the tabs all lined up, so now we are going to back the locking ring against the ocular. And then once we get it hand tight,
yeah,
then we take the wrench. Just give it a little bit of snug. Not a ton. A lot of this stuff is just hand tight. Like it's very thin plastic threads. Okay, make sure that
also keep in mind a lot of this stuff is meant to be field serviceable, so hand tight is perfectly fine.
Yeah. All right, now let me get a battery, and we can try.
What about all those companies selling limited edition M81 Tiger Stripe DCU camis and chest rigs for $800? If you want M81 Tiger Stripe or DCU camis, a better idea is just get the fucking BDUs and have them raid modded and have fucking Cry knee pads sewn onto them, or get Cry fires or whatever. In terms of chest rigs or plate carriers or any of that kind of stuff, when it comes to Gucci nylon, there's only one source that we recommend. That's Engage Tactical.
All right, let's put a battery inside of here.
Put white phosphorus in the NVG and profit. Dude, white phosphorus inside of any electronic device is probably going to be a bad idea.
White phosphor,
yes.
on the other hand, is another story. Okay, let's see.
The D3 CRM and DC, they're selling for $250 in a limited run. Limited run stuff, and I share this opinion with a lot of people. I think that drop culture invading tactical gear is one of the biggest cancers that we've seen over the last couple of years. I understand that it's one of the ways that a lot of businesses make money, but it opens the door for scalpers to charge $1,000 for a full Spiritus setup. Speaking of which, Garrett, you have a full Spiritus setup, right?
I have. There we go. Now we're in focus. There you go, buddy.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
She's on.
That sack lens is scratched as shit.
Yeah, well, it's also like the focus is very particular.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Be careful with those spanners, because if you torque too hard, you can easily crack the housing, or at the worst, or destroy the threads.
Very correct.
Yep.
Yep. Okay. So the way you have to hold this to turn it on and off. Ian.
Yeah.
This button right here.
Yeah.
You hold it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nope, come on. There we go. Okay, so you have to make sure you press it in. That turns it on, and then 1, 2, 3 seconds to turn it off.
Yes, Vitamin. It is a night vision sack lens kit. They do scratch rather easily, so I'm probably gonna be going through Claudio for my replacement set.
Yeah, your lenses are awful.
My lenses or my sack lenses?
Your sack lenses are awful.
Yeah, they are. They're not great.
Like this one. I don't know if you guys can kind of see.
It's not great.
So before we keep going, I am going to, if I can get this one loose. I had it loose because I had it off earlier.
Tiger Stripe Cry Pants on eBay. I'm going to buy, there's some random dude from Indonesia who is making his own Tiger Stripe Cry Pants for $68, and I'll be buying from him. Thank you.
That lens is pretty clean, so I think I'm just going to leave it alone.
It's not Vajra. It's
Can you message Jake? Ian?
Cullen?
Yeah, the one that you got the housing from. Can you message him just to make sure that you don't use the light pipe in a BNVD? Because I think he's built them before. I just want to make sure because, like, this ocular lens is going in pretty far. In the meantime, however, I will get the other half taken apart.
Yeah, I'm gonna link him the fucking live stream so he can hop on in.
Yeah, that took barely any pressure to get that locking ring loose.
Yeah, I don't know where this guy's from. He's from some Asian country, and I'm gonna be. Yes, he's from Indonesia. I'll be buying my Tiger Stripe Cry ripoffs from him. Because paying fucking $800 for a pair of Tiger Stripe Cries is ridiculous.
They're not actually that, are they?
It was $400 when they released on tactical distributors, and your average person is selling them from anywhere to $600 to $800 for the pants.
Jesus, that's crazy.
It's drop culture, man. Lexan is the best because after a game or two, you just heat the shields up and they heal and are crystal clear.
So the problem with Lexan over an actual glass lens is the Lexan scratches more easily.
Yeah.
Compared to, and while I'm sure that method is correct, you use a little bit of heat to get them restored to clear again if they do scratch. Like I use Lexan. Like there's nothing wrong with it, just because it's low cost.
It's gonna work for everything but thermals.
Yes, it will not work for thermals because thermals perceive objects as they are, not as their clarity.
Yeah. I mean, there's certain like lens covers you can get. I've seen people using both germanium glass as a lens cover. I've also seen people using like a kill flash as a
Yeah,
lens cover for thermals, and that's. I mean, if you're spending the money on thermals, you better have a fucking kill flash or a lens cover for it, because that lens going is gonna be a bad, bad day for you.
yeah. But the problem with that is like it perceives plastic not by its opacity, but by by the fact that it's an object.
Yeah,
So it's the same reason why when you're looking at thermals, if you're looking through like a plexiglass or like a car window, it just looks like it's blue.
yeah.
All right. How did I get? I think I just loosened the light pipe.
Crunch.
I mean, it's not like we're needing them.
No.
And I did double check. We are at the bottom of the threads.
Sweet.
So it looks like, yeah, I don't think we do use the light pipes because it doesn't have a gain, and it doesn't have. I mean, worst comes to worst, take it off, put it back on. Like the ocular lenses are not that challenging to take apart. This is one of the reasons why I invested in the tools.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah. Use mesh on your Kodi. You prefer it because it reduces noise and picks up less of all the details. Loop
Yes and no.
PRTR. I feel like
Yes
I've
and
heard that
no.
name before.
Like it reduces the amount of incoming like view. Oh, come on. Man, this is stuck. And it's because it's stuck inside one of the threads. So I just have to twist it back the other way, but I'm trying to be very delicate with it. See, this is why if I would have had my little pry things, it would just boop, pop right off. But I don't want to stick a metal screwdriver in there and damage your tubes.
Super chat from Tristan. Thank you. It is a miracle that Ian's room is actually lit now. Yes, I do have lights in this room. It also came down to the fact that during the charity live stream, I wasn't really using the lights anyway, and I was so fucking tired by the end of that, man. Holy shit.
Yeah, but like, holy crap, the amount of money we raised.
Yeah, we ended up bringing in a total
By
of
we, I
6K.
mean you.
You. No, it's $6,000 is a lot of money. I'm super proud of that. I'm blown away that our audience was able to make that happen, considering I've seen a bunch of people doing Extra Life, like the 24-hour Extra Life charity, and they'll have, like 200,000 subs, and they're making maybe $3,500 at most. So the fact that I think that what really helped was having shit to raffle off, having really cool stuff to raffle off as well.
There we go. And
was that the start of the YouTuber career? No. In terms of...
This is your other tube.
Ooh. Also L3. Hey, there we go. Start of a YouTuber career. No. We've been doing Gun Gamers for about 5 years. And,
yeah. Clearly, it is not a career.
It's absolutely not a career. No, fuck that. Airsoft YouTube is... Or, it's... There's some people who've made it work. This channel is not really pointed towards that. It's educational content, as you can tell.
I was gonna say, we are very much educationally driven. We're not trying to make this our day job.
Yeah.
Any benefits we get from doing that, obviously, we will happily take.
It's pretty lit. There's certain stuff that's come around from having an audience that's been super sweet.
That is an empty RNVG housing.
It's fucking sweet, man. We had a gentleman.
It weighs like nothing. Like it's not very heavy. I would say if I would have taken both this stuff out, I probably could have compared it to what this BNVD one is.
I'm fairly certain the BNVD is a tiny bit heavier, but
it probably is because the articulating obviously adds a little bit.
Yeah. Can we link the Gun Gamers Discord? The Gun Gamers Discord died. We deleted that shit like a month and a half ago.
The Discord is gone. Sorry.
Yeah, there's the Gun Gamers Facebook group, which is still around. Eric, if you can link that, that'd be great.
Oh, is Eric in the chat?
Eric is in the chat, yes. Unless
What's
there's
up, buddy?
someone else named E-House. We don't listen to E-House anymore. We only listen to T-House. Eric's family's better than actually Eric. Tristan Art Airsoft. Yeah, the Gun Gamers Discord dying was for the better.
So we begin anew, and I'm actually going to remove the pod before I start.
Nice.
Because it'll be easier to handle, I think.
Having looked at the DTNVS housing recently, it's like that is a cool fucking housing. It just looks very fragile.
It's very alien.
Yeah.
But it does look pretty badass, I will say.
Yeah. Also not made in the U.S. Turns out Acton Black's products are all made in Luxembourg, I think is the...
It was Luxembourg or Sweden, one of the two. Can't remember exactly which one it is.
It is...
Someone will correct me.
Luxembourg.
Okay.
I know RNVGs are... I mean, that's what, AB Night Vision, I think?
It'd be AB Night Vision. I'm pretty sure they're U.S.
Yeah, they did the Mod 3s as well. Yeah, they're based out of Tennessee. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the Mod 3 is actually originally what I was going to look at for dual tubes because, like, oh, sweet, I could convert it to a monocle if I wanted to. But then I was listening to a podcast from TNVC, and they were and somebody asked the question, like, what do you think about the Mod 3s? And the guy's like, if you're going to buy dual tubes, you're going to buy them to use them as dual tubes. You're not going to buy them to split them off into two monoculars for most cases.
I mean, to be 100% honest, it would literally cost, like, the only benefit that you would have over a pair of PVS-14's in a bridge is weight. That's it. Like, it's I think it's still more expensive. Yeah, they're a little... They're more fragile, to be 100% honest. Yeah, exactly. They're more fragile by nature of being modular. You've seen a few snapped Mod 3 bridges.
Who is that?
Vitamin Lead. I'm not sure who that is in IRL.
Go laugh if it's like Augie or something like that.
They're popular in astronomy because they use a C-mount lens like an Envis. Mod 3s. Oh, that's cool. DTMVGs have an accelerometer for auto shut off instead of magnets, which can turn on and off randomly. Each tube turns off when rotated up. Good housings. Yeah, so, I mean, Acton Black makes really solid shit. I haven't seen anything bad from them yet, so... I'm fairly certain DTMVGs were their first foray into the night vision industry.
So this screw is being stubborn.
Have you seen the PVS-31's housing?
Yes, I have.
That's an interesting housing. I'm wondering who that's made by. It's what, GSCI or something?
Yeah, I'm not sure. All right, this screw is being a little bit stubborn. It's almost like this one is an English instead of a metric.
It's made by GSCI. I wonder if it's an actual, like, Interesting. The connector located in the front of the unit is used to supply power to the unit from almost any source. External battery pack, USB power bank, 12-volt car socket, and so on.
Interesting.
Okay, and they've also got a model with an integrated IR laser for target des. That's
integrated
weird.
target laser. That's not something you see every day.
No, that's not. That's fucking cool, though.
Okay.
Although I guarantee
Now,
you it's not made by L3, who make the 31As.
okay, there is the pod for that.
I wonder how many people
Now,
bought PVS 31 Charlies wondering why PVS 31As were so affordable suddenly. Okay, AB Night Vision is also the OEM for the Sentinels. That makes sense.
yes, yeah, the Sentinels evolved into the RNVG.
Now there's the RMVG Micro, which is based off of, I think it's Photonis' 16
Because
millimeter
the
tubes.
Photonis 16 millimeter stuff,
Yeah.
yeah.
I've heard very mixed things about Photonis' 16 millimeter shit.
It's new, it's fancy. Like, the whole point of it is to be lightweight, and I'm sure in that respect they probably have succeeded.
I mean, they're never gonna be on the level of something like, you know, L3 unfilmed housings, or unfilmed tubes, but they're still absolutely usable for civilians.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. An operator's never going to use them, but you know, it's more than enough to really make sure that you can flex on the pores at airsoft games.
they're 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 considered Gen 2, but from what I can tell, the specs are Gen 3. Like, I think the only reason they're not considered Gen 3s is because they're not a gallium arsenide.
What do they use?
Tube. I don't know. They didn't really share that, at least when I was looking into them. Because I was like, oh, the Photonis 4Gs are like super well, inexpensive for night vision, at least.
In comparison, yeah. Yeah, I was looking at the I was either RMVGs or DTMVGs. I was messaging Glenn from Night Vision Inc.
Mm-hmm.
Also, he makes good stuff, but he was
yeah, he's another very intelligent dude.
Very reputable, very very good stuff. But he was telling me that the biggest difference is like if I'm gonna be in complete darkness, you know, L3 unfilmed white phosphor, except no substitute.
Mm-hmm.
They use
I found that I find myself in a lot of mixed light, so for me, it's not as critical to have the unfilmed.
Yeah, your average
I'm
airsoft.
probably gonna go with the. Oops, sorry, I made some kind of noise. I'm probably gonna go like when I put new tubes in the RNVG or Jeff Melichek's fancy thing that he's got cooking. Whichever. I'm probably gonna go with the XLSH from Elbit.
I mean, Elbit, which is, I'm fairly certain they bought out Harris Night Vision stuff, but they make great stuff as well. Elbit makes some awesome tubes. They're all thin filmed, I want to say.
Yeah, I think they're thin filmed. So when we're talking about the film, because I'm feeling there's a. Is that the microchannel plate? I can't remember.
Yeah, I believe it's the microchannel plate, but you're probably going to know more about that than I will. Feel free to educate the viewers. I'm going to grab a beer real quick.
Yeah, okay. So the way night vision works is there's a, if I remember this correctly, I had this written down at one point. There's 3 like layers to the image intensifier. So the first layer converts the photons coming in the form of light energy into electrons. The electrons are shot towards a microchannel plate, which the microchannel plate, it has a whole bunch of tubes, but they're all offset from the center line, with the thought that when an electron comes and hits the microchannel, it multiplies itself, so it gives off more electrons. That cloud now of electrons then moves back to I think it's a photocathode, or maybe the photocathode is the beginning. One of the two. It moves back to another plate, and that converts the electrons back into photons. But now that you have more electrons compared to when you started, converting them back into photons means you're now magnifying the amount of light that is available for the image.
Eric says, all this science is fucking boring, and I swear to God, Garrett, if you break out a whiteboard, I'm deleting the channel.
I can't remember if I erased the like night vision stuff that I had for a video on my whiteboard.
Yeah. Man.
So this actually looks really clean, so I'm not gonna clean it, but I am gonna touch the contacts with some alcohol. Oh, that's right. On this tube, you can see it's a little different. It's got a metal housing instead of a plastic one like your last one did. So you have the one connection point, and then the other is the actual metal of the housing.
Oh, okay, I got you. I wonder what the difference is.
I think it's just a manufacturing difference.
I mean, I've noticed very few differences between the. And I've looked at the spec sheets, and they're both in the same range for figure of merit and manufacture date. So I wonder if one of them's 10. Actually, no, both of them are 11769s.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, metal is ground. Okay.
So with the L3 tubes, the pigtail on most other 11769 image intensifiers, there's a pigtail that comes off that has what's called an EGAC, electronic gain adjustment, or no, I'm sorry, electronic gain adjustment control, I believe is what it stands for.
Mm-hmm.
So that is essentially a variable resistor that you adjust on the outside of the housing, and that varies the brightness of the tube, how bright the actual tube is. Sort of like turning up and down a flashlight
Yeah.
or like a dimmer switch on a light. That's pretty much what you're doing with the gain. The L3 tubes are unique. Other tubes, they solder the pigtail onto two little posts. L3 tubes, it's a plug.
Yeah.
So you can actually convert these back into
10160s. Yeah.
11 160s.
No, 10160s and 11769s.
Oh, yeah, that's right. 101 10160s. So they're essentially kind of the same tube as far as L3 is concerned, and they just plug a pigtail into one and the other.
Sounds like
In order,
manufacturing is made way easier in that case.
yeah, and it kind of makes me jealous that I wish that L3 tubes were a little bit less expensive, but it is what it is.
I'm surprised L3 hasn't gotten bought out by anybody. I mean, I wish they would get bought out by 3M because 3M is a sweet veterans discount.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, I would have used it for my Comtech 5s had I not already bought them from somebody. Sober Joe says, Garrett, lick the tube. Please don't. Please don't. Jesus Christ.
Especially after all the delicate cleaning that I've been doing.
Yes. Joe's doubling down, saying, Garrett will lick the tubes. No, Joe.
Did he put it in caps lock that time?
Yes, he did.
I know you, Joe.
Okay, Fleur's doubling down. Lick them. Okay. And Derek says, I'll lick your tube, Joe.
Oh, we have the best audience.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Okay. So now, image intensifier is now in place. So now we let's see how that is. I'm just going to blow dust off of that one. Your one tube is definitely dirtier compared to this one.
Are you going to reattach it first?
Nah.
Alright, yeah, fuck it.
I want.
There you go, baby. I don't even remotely know how to say your name. It seems to be some sort of Welsh. It's just a bunch of consonants with one vowel in them. Said I pooped in a sock. That's wonderful. Thank you.
Congratulations, I guess.
Yes, it seems to be some sort of Welsh. Not enough Y's in it, though. So, Garrett, how's your day been?
Doing all right. I'm definitely excited now to to get this done because it's been sitting on my workbench teasing me.
Yeah. Where can you buy NVGs? Depends on where you are. If you're in the U.S., Steel Industries,
I
Night
was gonna
Vision
say
Inc.
if you're in the U.S., there's lots of different companies.
If you're not in the U.S.,
There's less companies, but it is possible.
it is possible. Or you can just go on to Night Vision Users 2.0 and ask ship to ITEL.
Okay, so now
L3 makes so much stuff. Radios. So L3 is the Harris part of L3 makes radios. So L3 ended up merging with Harris and then selling off Harris's Night Vision building to Elbit. And now L3 Harris produces the tubes. It might be L. It's major corporation shit. They merge and split all the fucking time. But Harris is who makes the radios, like Prick 152s, 163s, stuff of that
L3
nature.
is a conglomerate. They have a
Yeah.
number of umbrellas.
Same way that khaki is,
my,
yeah. BAE.
my old hometown had an L3 plant that made vacuum tubes.
Yeah, Rochester has we've got, I think Harris's headquarters is in Rochester.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. L3 made radios before Harris. They probably did. I don't know, dude. I use their shit. I'm not a historian on how they operate.
I'm sure the company website could educate most people.
L3 is also EOTech/Insight, so anything on a SOP mod block 2. Oh, that's a good point. Everything on a SOP mod block 2 is made by EOTech. Or by
Almost.
L3. Outside of the rail and the flash hider. Yeah, L3 is that's why you see GPMVGs sometimes marketed as EOTech GPMVGs.
Mm-hmm.
L3 makes PEC 15s as well, don't they?
L3 does make PEC 15s. They also made the PSQ 18.
I'm fairly certain they make the ENVGs as well.
Because I tried to get a pressure pad and the mount, and they told me they're no longer making them. They haven't made them since like 2014 or something like that, or 2016.
Have you found a mount yet or no?
I'm probably going to have to just 3D print one. It should be fine.
L3 sold EOTech. Yeah, that sounds about right. American Hollow Optics now owns EOTech. Yeah, the government contracting world, having dabbled in it a little bit myself, is outrageously complicated. Especially once you go from the actual goods part of it to the services part of it, because you've got the primes, you've got the subcontractors working directly for the primes, and oftentimes you'll have two prime subs on a contract as well. It's ridiculous, but a lot of money to be made. Could you go more into the detailed differences between night vision gens, such as Gen 2, Gen 2 Plus, and Gen 3?
Oh. So the differences between the generations generally have to do with the image resolution and the amount of light that it amplifies.
And durability of the tubes as well.
Yes, but even like the early Gen 3 tubes are still like it's still the same tube design. Just the manufacturability of them has gotten easier / better. So you get a better quality for the same price, or you can get better quality for more monies.
So it looks like Gen 2 Plus is the least defined. Yeah, so Gen 2 Plus isn't an actual, from my understanding, it's not an actual generation of night vision. Hey, there we go, baby.
All right, so let me turn these on.
Sweet. Gen 2 Plus exists in the same way that level 3 plus armor exists. It's not an actual...
I was going to say Gen 4.
Or Gen 4.
Night vision. Gen 4 night vision doesn't exist because the specifications for it were diverted into the Omni classification.
Yeah.
There we go. Both tubes are on. Can't see. I'm gonna have to I'm gonna turn these off.
Sweet. I'd say the closest thing to Gen 4 night vision you're gonna see is fusion nods.
So the nice thing about the BNVD is the fact you have an articulating bridge. So I will showcase. Give me 1 second. Let me go grab my helmet because I have it handy.
Hot. While Garrett is doing that, yeah, the closest thing to Gen 4 night vision you're going to see is going to be like Fusion night vision. So the ENVGs that are coming out, or Gen 3 nods with a Cody over it. Blemish tubes is a good topic. Blemishes can either be devastating to night vision, or they can not really make a huge difference. Blems on nods aren't super catastrophic.
No, they really aren't.
Yeah, shortwave infrared is absolutely the future with night vision. I'm super excited for that. You own a PSQ-20? That's fucking cool.
That's cool.
We're gonna have to get together at some point so I can look through that shit. Luke, where are you coming from? Are you a channel subscriber? Or are you coming from the Night Vision Discord?
All right, I'm gonna turn a couple of the lights out, and then I'm gonna turn them on just to make sure that everything focuses okay.
You have no idea how jealous I am right now, because those are mine. So I've been sub to y'all for like 3 years. There you go, man. Yeah. No, I'm gonna have to get together with you to look through their PSQ-20s. Do you have any sort of information on the? Pay attention, Ian. Fine. God, fuck you, Eric. If you have any information on the GREC, feel free to give me a heads up. It's a cool looking piece of equipment. It seems to have the same resolution as the E-Cody. Garrett, do you feel like an operator?
I do feel like an operator.
There you go.
Your nods make a noise for like, oh crap. Oh, there we go.
They make a noise for like a quick second.
They make a noise for a second. All right, now.
How's the focusing on it?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get. But they're turning on and off.
That's important.
I don't know why they're doing that though.
What exactly are they doing?
Like they're on for a couple seconds and then they turn off.
Interesting.
Yeah. Okay. Let me change the battery just to be safe because they were working before.
Not a fan of PSQ-20. I use the A model for work, and the thermal sucks. I know the B got an awesome too, but similar issue. I prefer the 15 and Cody. I got you. I'm assuming you're SFAB, based off of the fact that you guys actually have the PSQ-20s. The PAS 29 seems really, really cool. I'd like to get my hands on one, but I've also looked at the GREC for like an additional $1,500, and that's really cool to me. How's she looking, Garrett?
All right, there we go. I think the battery was just running low.
I got you. And they have an auto. They've got an auto shut off when you flip them up, right?
Well, I'll find out here in a second. Just want to get them adjusted. Of course, I don't have a counterweight, but ooh, baby, White Foss is so cool.
It's neat shit, man. Pretty much everybody has some version of the PSQ-20. Still, the alphas from 2009. Jesus Christ. As a filthy pogue and somebody in an HHBN unit, we do not have the PSQ-20. We have got 14s. And the real hotness is the 36s. Although the only place you're going to get them is you're going to get stolen versions for like 40 grand.
These things are so cool.
Thanks, man. When those going out in the mail, Garrett?
Probably Monday.
That's doable. I'm so ready to operate in my backyard. My God.
So.
Do You're in a PSP
Pivot
also.
it up.
God damn it. Yep.
They do not turn off.
Okay, if you
Let's
flip them
see if
upwards.
they pivot. Turn off that way? Nope. Aha! They do turn off.
Yay! Neat. How close do they stow? I mean, I know that you've got what, the AK too?
What's that?
I was gonna say, how
Yeah.
close do they stow to the
Yeah, so I
stow to
have
the
an
helmet?
AK too, so it's not gonna sit super flat.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's off. And then that turns it back on.
Hey, that's pretty neat.
I think what it is it's the orientation of the housing.
Okay.
Like if it's upside down, they turn off, but as soon as you flip it, like semi like that. There we go. And they turn back on.
That's really cool. Oh my god, I'm so excited for this.
Yeah, this housing is really nice.
It's not not exactly super expensive either. If you're looking to get your own version of that housing, feel free to contact our boy Jake at Maple Armories or Maple Airsoft Supply, because he does in fact sell these, and they are pretty lit.
Yeah, just make sure you have a good battery. I'm going to toss out that one.
Yeah, I use AA lithium batteries, so I'm not super worried about it. And we'll be using a super cool external type battery pack, but we haven't really announced that yet.
Well, you've got that clone one.
Yeah, I've got the FMA GPMVG battery pack that works kind of, depending on what you're running. Although that has a Fisher port, yeah.
Yeah, I believe. Yeah, it's a Fisher because it's got the half moon.
Okay.
So you will need a new cable. You'll need a cable adapter.
Well, I've got a Limo to Fisher, but I'm gonna need Fisher to Fisher.
You need Fisher to Fisher, unless that battery pack has another Lemo. Don't force that in. I know that's what she said.
It goes in nice and taut, and it
Nice
pulls
and
out
taut.
nice and taut like a Toyga.
Yeah, the same thing that that I had with my 531's. Just
Okay.
because the 31, like the bridge sits so high, you're
Yeah.
gonna have to adjust like the whole way up to get it up to where your face is.
I'm not super worried about that. Yeah, I can do that because I've got the G24, and that's got some super excellent.
I will say the nice thing about this too, because you have a metal dovetail, it's nice and it fits really tight into this Nuranos AKA too.
Okay, that's exciting. Okay, now people.
Like it just no play
That's sweet.
at all. Yeah, it weighs about the same. If anything, this might be a little bit lighter.
Do you have a scale near you?
Not one heavy enough.
I got you.
And actually, what I'm going to do, I'm going to readjust this one lens so that way they are the same.
Okay.
God,
that is fucking cool.
I know. Oh, I gotta go this way.
Oh man. Chat, shut up, Garrett's doing night vision shit. Shut up, chat. Shh. It's really neat, really lit. Someone asked in chat, Garrett, is that a Gundam ground type up there?
Is that a what?
Is that a Gundam ground type up there? I'm assuming they're talking about to your left.
Oh yeah, the things that I have just sitting over here. So I've actually got 3 kits. So I've got the RX-79G EZ8 from 8th MS Team that I still have to build. So these are actually, this is something that Matt Hay turned me on to because he started doing the Gundam kits just as a side thing. Bandai has what they call the 30-minute missions series, so they're like non-Gundam, like mecha type kits.
Okay.
So this is the Alto ground type. I'm waiting on an additional flight pack to connect to it. So I got to build that. And then this kit, I'm very excited. I'm glad I got it. This is P-Bandai, which is like their premium line, the RX-9 narrative B-Packs from the Mobile Suit Gundam NT narrative movie.
Okay.
So I've got all those kits. That is like half of my like unbuilt stuff.
Sweet.
Further over in the basement, I actually have a narrative Apex, which is this giant like super space built thing. I have a 1144 high grade Gundam Barbatos Lupus. I have a 1144 high grade Vidar. I'm in the middle right now of building a 1100 no grade Curios. I got that when I was in college, and it's just been sitting unbuilt ever since. And then, of course, they announced the master grade, which I want, but I figured I'd build the no grade first. And then I've got Star Winning Gundam from the Gundam Build Fighters Tri series, which is really cool. I'm trying to think what else I've got.
So Garrett, at this point,
BF-31J, which was from Macross Delta.
That's sweet.
Which it's a transformable fighter plane, so it actually looks like a fighter plane and not a suit that has wings.
I got you.
Like Curios does. Although this is the like 1/200 like fixed model, so it's just the fighter plane mode. What else do I have sitting over there? Oh, I have a Destroyed Defender from the original Robotech, which was the original SDF Macross translated in the United States. But yeah, congratulations, Ian. Your nods are done.
That's exciting, man. I'm really excited. I've been waiting.
I
waiting since early or late November for this, and boy, oh boy, am I excited! But yeah, at this point, these are built. There might be a little bit of tweaking that needs to take place, but otherwise, they're built and purged. Yeah, you purge those, or do you have to purge them with the canned air?
I did not purge them. Only because I don't know exactly where the purge point is. And my suspicion is that these have to be purged, like in a container, like so you have to put them inside of like a glass box, pop off like both oculars or loosen something up, and then like flood the entire container with nitrogen.
I know Jake mentioned something about a purge port, so
if there is a purge port, I will happily purge them with. Oh wait, here it is.
Hey, there you go.
I can purge that super quick.
That'd be great. One thing I'm going to do is that once we finish up with this, I'm going to direct all of the current viewers to go over and go watch the ASAP podcast because they're live right now. Yeah, so Vitamin. Yeah, they are. Vitamin Lead. That has been rectified after talking to the guys who told us this. They do hold a purge now, alongside talking to a couple of other people. But yes, they do hold a purge, and I'm super excited to use them and flex on some pores.
Now, obviously, the best purge is going to be a nitrogen one.
Yeah.
Done with like the pipe coming in and done to 3 psi. The like cheap way to do it is to just take a thing of canned air and just blow on it for a little bit, very softly.
I guess the what is that? The poor but 85% effective version.
Pretty much. The idea is you're getting all the like water vapor atmosphere out of the tube. Okay, that is now tight. We are roughly where we need to be.
That's pretty hot, I'm not gonna lie.
There you go. All right, let me go get a screwdriver really quick. We'll do your purge.
Hot.
I'm gonna turn the lights back on too.
All right, sweet. Hell yeah.
My only fear, the reason why I was afraid that they were turning on and off, is I thought the auto gating was kicking in like crazy because I had a couple extra lights on, but that was not the case. It's just the battery.
I gotcha. Okay. Dude, Nod Squad is a good place to be. It's a lot of fun, but one thing I will say is that make sure you go to actual night games to use them. I didn't use my fucking nods at a net game until like 6 or 7 months after actually getting my hands on them. So.
I was gonna say, if you play airsoft more than 5 times a year and you go to a major event, multiple times a year, I would strongly consider investing in night vision.
One thing that night vision is super good at as well is retaining its value, at least for now. Night vision tends to retain its value pretty fucking well compared to like regular airsoft gear. Just blowing on the fucking purge port.
Well, I gotta wiggle the little nozzle out.
Gotta use your Capri Sun straw to actually get some of the fucking canned air in there. If you don't mind me asking, Garrett, what's your method of measurement here?
Measurement for what?
The purge, I guess. I don't know what. Explain what you're doing here. You're just blowing canned air onto the purge port.
Yeah, pretty much. You're just trying to displace the atmosphere. Typically with night vision, you pull a vacuum inside the tube and then allow the nitrogen to return back in.
Yeah.
And then you do that. You cycle vacuum, nitrogen, typically 3 times.
Somebody said in chat, I heard earlier today, people use wine preservation kits with nitrogen or argon to purge their nods. It's
that
another
works
option.
Too.
Yeah.
I'm trying to purchase a legit purge kit.
Okay.
But it is a lot of money, and I will get there eventually. But now is not quite the time.
It's really only worth it for someone like you if you're building night vision for people.
Well, and I'm not really even building night vision for people at this point. I eventually would like to. Just because, like, for me, it's fun. Like, it's cool. It's very, like...
Nice little cathartic hobby.
Yeah. Like, it's just something I can just sit here and just do. Okay, so now you've got some kind of purge in here. These are cool, man. Like, I'm jealous.
I'm excited for it. I really am. But yeah, you're saying, the housing itself seems pretty solid.
Oh my god, yeah. Like, this is... I would definitely say this is more solid than my PVS 531.
Yeah.
But my PVS 531 was a nice, solid housing, too. Because it had specialty built adapters, and it's a half metal housing.
Okay. I have used 31s and 5s in the past, so I will, and 15s in the past, so I will absolutely report back on how it feels compared to the other shit that I've used.
It feels like a legit pair of
piece of military equipment.
Yeah.
Okay. Absolutely.
I'm just sad now that the RNVGs are just like empty.
They're hollow. Well, you can fill those, or you can sell it.
My plan. Well, that's the thing is I'm going to buy lenses.
Okay.
Right now, Kosher Surplus has a sale going on for some Carson Industries PVS-14 lenses.
I mean, you can get Surplus USGI lenses for like $250 for each lens.
See, that's the thing is everybody that sells the lenses, they sell them for $250. So if you find a deal like Kosher has them for $230, like you take anything you can get.
Yeah, $80 is $80. That's 8 trips to Wendy's. Okay, thank you, Garrett.
This is my housing, not yours.
Oh, that's true. That is your housing now.
Stop giving a shit.
I mean, it's made out of 6061 aluminum, so you can fucking hurl it at the wall behind you and it'd be fine.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be fine. All right, that battery, I'm gonna throw that away.
Yep.
Put the lid on the rubbing alcohol.
How much did you save building them yourselves compared to buying from a retailer like TNVC or US?
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah,
Like, you really don't save money. Like, the only thing you might save is like maybe a couple $100.
on labor costs. You
Yeah,
can save a
and
little bit on
and
14s if you buy
truthfully,
like blem tubes, but if you're buying nicer unfilmed white
yeah,
phosphate tubes, it's
if
gonna
you're
be
buying everything brand new, you buy a brand new image intensifier, you buy a builder's kit someplace that somebody might have on sale, you're going to be paying about the same as somebody that does the builds professionally.
yeah.
And truthfully,
Honest to God, if you can
it's
get it
not
from
worth it unless you spend the money and like you send it to somebody to do the purge, and it's going to cost you that money anyway. You can like
I would
half-ass
also,
it. The
I'd
set
also
of
think about it this way: the fact that like Steel Industries and TNVC and all of these companies offer a warranty to go along with your night vision.
yes, there's that too.
If let's say your fucking tubes explode, from some random freak accident, TNVC or Steel Industries or US Night Vision, they will absolutely make it right. If you build it
Mhm.
yourself, the only person who can make it right for you is yourself.
Yep, and that the warranty to me, the warranty is definitely worth the money. Of course, I say that
Absolutely.
as somebody that just likes building. I like building stuff because I can. Like, I can go buy an AK. That doesn't change the fact that I want to build an AK.
Yeah.
I
There's
can
plenty of
buy an
stuff you can't
AR.
buy as well.
You can build an AR.
Yeah.
Just because I know how to build one doesn't mean I know how to build it right.
Yeah.
Although I've done a ton. You do a ton of research and you can like see like it's not very complicated.
Well,
Like what I
there's
did.
also something to be said for being able to figure shit out on your own. If you watch In Range TV, your boy Deviant Olin putting together that
Dude,
lower.
I love Deviant. He's so cool to listen to.
Garrett, he's a taller version of you, from what I can tell.
Is he taller?
I don't know, but you're not very tall, so I'd assume he's taller.
Shut up. You're not that much taller than me.
Garrett, I'm 5'11" and you're like 5'9". It's like
Uh,
it's like
you're
guys
giving me credit.
guys who are 5'11" on Tinder, guys who are 6 foot on Tinder.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's pretty much that.
yeah. No, man. I mean, but to be 100% honest, building night vision, it's fun. It doesn't give you a warranty, so if you fuck up, you're gonna be out a lot of money.
Yeah.
But if you, by chance, have a degree in engineering, like Garrett does, Garrett, you got that piece of paper right there, don't you?
I do. I'm not going to show because it's got
Personal information.
personal info on it.
Yeah.
But I do. I am a degreed mechanical engineer.
As someone who doesn't have a degree and hasn't really attended college myself, I wouldn't attempt this shit because.
Well, and keep in mind too, like before attempting this, I tore apart and put back together my PVS-14 like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
Just so I understood, like, okay, this is the right feel because I built my PVS-14. I bought a tube used. It's blemished. Whatever. I don't care.
Yeah.
It's like a zone, like it's between a zone 3 and a zone 2 blem, so it's like on
Yeah.
the outer edge. But at the same time, like even a blem tube, like it's still totally usable for airsoft. It's still totally usable even for like real stuff too. If you
Yeah.
ask me.
I mean, it's absolutely, and there's plenty of accessories in the night vision world that also make it worth it. I mean, there's so much cool shit that you can do with night vision, whether it's the actual
And
tubes themselves or a Cody or
that's
all
why I
the
say
extra shit.
it is a cascading cost
Because there's
before you know it,
nothing that is cheap in night vision either.
no, before you know it, you could easily have like $5,000 to $10,000 in a monocle setup.
Yeah, in a dual tube setup, you can. I
A
mean,
dual tube setup, you could push 5 figures easy.
dude, if I get a Cody, I'm gonna have like 12 to 13K in a fucking dual tube setup. That's a car. That is a nice car.
Yeah,
We've got some, you know, as far as the gun gamers go, myself, Garrett, keep your ears open. There's some cool developments taking place that you might see some really cool stuff coming out in the near future, especially in the night vision side of things. We're not gonna really.
we're trying.
We're trying.
We're
not
trying.
We're not gonna
We're
reveal
gonna try
too much.
something. We'll see what happens.
If it goes well, it could go really, really, really well, and it could be really, really cool, or it could just be a niche product. Who knows? But
That's enough of that.
that's enough of that. I think we're probably gonna call it here. We're about an hour and 45 minutes in, and I do want to go bully
we?
the guys. Yeah, we are. I do want to go send all of you good people over to our friends at the ASAP podcast. I'm just going to spam it in chat real quick. If you go over there...
RNVG.
Ooh.
It's empty.
If you head over to that link
so
I just dropped and say Gun Gamers sent you, that will be... Throw them a like, throw them a watch.
Do they have a guest on this week?
Yeah, they've got the guys from SpeedQB actually revealing the Milsim stuff that they're coming out with.
Ooh, that'll be cool.
Yeah, so...
Interested to see what their perspective, or at least what their take on gear is.
If they come out with Milsim gear that, like, retains the high-speed nature of SpeedQB, but is offered in cool stuff, I would be very excited to use it. Is offered in multicam and Desert Tiger Stripe, hopefully.
Yeah, I'd be interested. When did it start? Did it start at 9?
Yeah, it started about 40 minutes ago, give or take.
Okay.
But yeah, if you guys want to all head on over there and tell them that Gun Gamers sent you, give them a like, give them some comments and a view.
Yeah, they're all cool guys.
They're all good people. They are. But yeah,
this was fun.
That was fun. Hopefully you found it educational. Hopefully you got something out of it.
Don't break these, Ian.
I don't plan on it, really. My wallet doesn't plan on it either, because that shit is fucking expensive.
Yeah.
The cheapest.
But it's cool.
It's very cool. How much is night vision? The answer is yes.
The answer is yes. I would say start off with a PVS-14. You don't need dual tubes. A good PVS-14 with a J-arm and a solid mount and everything like that is going to be at least $3,000.
And that's a PVS-14 with a warranty. If you're buying some used
PVS-14, yeah, if you buy something used, it could be whatever, but even in what I've seen in today's market, because a lot of stuff has gone up because
of Rona.
Because of Rona. Because of that, a lot of stuff has gone up, and like even the used night vision market, people are trying to get as much of their money's worth as they can.
I saw a PVS-7 for like $2,300 the other day.
Yeah, that definitely seems like a lot to me, but I don't know enough about it to really make a judgment.
Yeah. But hey, man, to be 100% honest, if you search for a deal and you trust the guy who's selling it and you can get a half decent deal, you can absolutely have a full night vision setup for under $2K minus the laser or plus the laser. Who knows? I saw PVS-14 go for like $1,000 a couple of months ago. Now it was bro price, but yeah. Deals happen. They absolutely do. Vitamin Lead just said his 7s were $900. You can find PVS-14s for a little bit over $1,000. But with that,
another purge.
That's great, and that is blowing my ears out and probably the viewers' ears out. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Garrett building night vision. Hopefully we can bring you additional night vision related shit in the future. Y'all have a nice night. Garrett, say goodnight.
Good night.